Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I also have a much smaller channel called Latina Diaspora, where I talk about issues pertaining to Latinos residing in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. First of all, happy belated Thanksgiving to all those who observe Thanksgiving, and happy Indigenous Day to those who observe that holiday as well. Um, as always, I just want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel, whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or joined as recently as this week. I really appreciate your continued love and support. I just want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices, and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is the following. I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have an opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And as you can see by the description of the thumbnail, it's another night of open discussion. So, what I will be doing is I will be discussing several topics, and I will give you my humble opinion regarding each topic. Of course, the audience will have an opportunity to opine. Also, if the audience have anything that they wish for me to discuss, I will do my very best to do so. If it's something that I know very little about, I will state so accordingly. Okay. Now, before I continue, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit the link and express an opinion regarding any topic that we discuss, it, that person may do so. However, if I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which would cause the people to take down their string. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about, okay, it seems like the Harris campaign, despite the fact that they have raised close to $1.5 billion, that they're $20 million into the hole, okay? And apparently there are staff that's not received payment for services, okay? If this is true, this is a really sad and pitiful situation, okay? First of all, you take into account, look, regardless how you might feel about the Harris campaign and what Harris tried to achieve, you cannot dispute the fact that there was dedicated staff that devoted hours to try to help her become elected. You talk about staff that went door to door and knocked on people's doors and encouraged people to vote for Kamala Harris, as far as people making phone calls, as far as people um, posting flyers and work in the office or what have you. They should receive pay for their services. And the fact that despite the fact that they raised 1.5 close to $1.5 billion, and you have staff that not being paid, I don't know about you, but that's a very sad judgment in my part. Okay. Look, regardless of what happens in your campaign, make sure that you paid your staff appropriately. Okay. Also, there's been a lot of criticism regarding the fact that a good deal of the funds went to various different organizations, which provided questionable advice um, regarding the campaign. Now, of course, a law has been taken the fact that she only had like 100 days um, to be known, and she had to fight a lot of perspective uh, points of view regarding how she was, and she was considered very unfavorable. But nevertheless, um, there was a lot of mistakes made, and when everything is said and done, Donald Trump simply did a better job uh, illustrating that he appears, at least superficially, to be more concerned about the voters' concerns. Now, of course, there's a lot of speculation whether or not Kamala Harris will run again. You know what? Anything is possible. Anything's possible. Um, Now, of course, there are numerous other people that might step forward for a presidential run in 2028. We'll have to wait and see. Now, she did make a campaign appearance after the election and after her vacation or sabbatical um, in Hawaii. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the video, okay, and then you can judge for herself what condition she appeared to be. Now, Dee Dee actually gave her reaction regarding Kamala Harris's speech. So I'm just going to give you my reaction as well. And of course, it'll be under fair use for the purposes of giving my critique. Let me just share my screen. So I'll try not to speak too much, uh, but the video, I think, in a way, speaks for itself. So let's proceed.
Hello, it's your girl Dee Dee. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I just came across this disturbing video of Kamala Harris, you guys, and I had to share it with y'all. I want to get y'all thoughts on this. So Kamala did this speech to her supporters who supported her in the election. It was a bit disturbing in my opinion. I want to go ahead and play the clip of this because it's a short clip and I want to get your thoughts on it. Definitely chime in the comments below. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit that like button and share the video as well. And definitely chime in the comments. I want to hear what you think. Here goes the video. Here we go.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
No, so it was a short clip.
Now, I don't know about you. Now, I get it, considering that it was an unexpected defeat that she experienced. I mean, there are many Kamala Harris supporters who did not think that Trump would win all 7 of the battleground states, okay, even though it wasn't by huge margins, the fact that he won all 7, okay. And actually going into the election, it was assumed it was be very close. Um, it was far from it. When everything is said and done, Donald Trump received 312 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 226, and gained had a reasonable margin when it comes to the popular vote by at least 2 million voters, which is something that we didn't think, many people did not think will not happen. So let us continue with the video again, fair use.
I don't think the people who voted in the way that they voted, I don't think they have an issue with that. I think the way they voted proved that they do have power. And I think that she's talking to the people that voted for her, trying to maybe give them an uplifting message. To be honest, this video was not very uplifting. And, and I'm not, it's just, it seems very somber. She seems a little bit disoriented. She doesn't seem up to speed. She seems, disturbed and quite hammered. She even looked like she aged a bit in this short time. And I'm not trying to be funny, but we know these campaigns.
Now, this is the thing. I mean, she does appear, okay, granted, I mean, her spirits are low because of the outcome. But she does appear to be maybe had one belt too many. Okay. And with all due respect, I think this is something that should have been stated in her concession speech. Okay. I mean, I do believe, at least as far as many of her supporters know, that they do have a power, okay? They do have the ability to make things happen. It's just that, unfortunately, Kamala Harris did not do a great job convincing enough people to support her vision. So now let's continue on the videos.
And politics and these politicians and all the stuff that they do to get into these spaces, it can be very taxing. We all know that once the president comes out of office, they look like they've aged tremendously. We've seen it with just about most of the recent presidents. They come out of office and they look much older. They look worn. They look tired. But this has just been a short period of time. And, she looks washed. She looks like she's been having a really hard time. And, she brought up the fact that she raised over $1 billion. And we all know that, she spent all of it. And also now she's in debt. She spent over the amount. And so I'm sure the donors are pissed about that. People, they're not liking this. They lost the election, so they lost all this money. People are not happy with her at this point. So it is definitely showing, I'm not going to, speculate of what I think else could be going on, because there are many others who are out here speculating, and people who are assuming allegedly that this woman may be drunk. And I wouldn't lie to you if I didn't think that myself, just in her behavior and even throughout the campaign, the way she just burst out in laughter and the way she moves and acts, it does allegedly seem that way. But this speech.
Now, let me tell you something about the position of president. It's one of the most stressful positions that you can have. Because first of all, every decision you make is not only going to affect the citizens of this country, it's going to affect people worldwide. Okay, You have to be able to function, okay, in an extremely stressful manner, sober. If she is appeared to be under the influence of alcohol, okay, due to the result of the election, how she's going to be able to function, has she succeeded, okay? And grant you, not everyone has the temperament to become um, the commander in chief. And this is no way trying to denigrate Kamala Harris. I mean, but we don't know what's going on in her head right now. So we're going to continue for a little bit more again on the fair use.
Speech right here was not an uplifting speech whatsoever. And I would think for the people, for the supporters, they would want to see her in higher spirits, even if it's not really the case. We all know that this is very taxing and all of this, and then the fact that you lost is got to be horrifying. Nobody wants to lose, but to come on and give a speech that I guess what's the point of it in the first place? And a lot of people are still angry at the fact that she didn't give a speech on the night of the election. There are people in the comments. I saw comments of people saying, why didn't you come out and speak to us at election night? So some people are still in their feelings about that. And now, as she's Johnny come lately coming back with the speech, you would think that the speech would be more uplifting, that it would, give her supporters some hope, make them feel better about the choice that they made. But in fact, she doesn't look the same. She looks really tired. She looks very worn. She looks out of it. Matter of fact, and she's kind of slurring her words a little bit. She doesn't seem up to par. And, and so I'm trying to just wrap my brain around what was the real point.
That's the fact that she seemed to be slurring her speech is giving speculation to the fact that maybe she had one drink too many, or maybe she's under medication. I mean, because look, we do not know what is her health condition is. And sometimes when you're under medication and when you're under stress, your speech can be slurred. So we really don't know what's going on inside of her head. So we're going to continue a little bit more and then we're going to talk. And again, this is under fair use.
Point of this speech, and I know that they were asking for more donations because she spent way over budget and now her campaign is in debt. So they were asking for donations for people to give more money to pay that, which I thought was ridiculous. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. I thought it was ridiculous, but of course, and just to give her a little bit, yes, I'm pretty sure she's not happy about losing. Maybe she thought she had it in the bag and that she was, it was going to be all gravy, but it wasn't. And now it's taken a toll. And, it makes me wonder who's behind this, because at this point, in my opinion, I don't think it was necessary for her to even give a speech at this point. Just keep it moving, re-strategize, find another path, do something else, because now it just makes her even look worse. There are people who are literally out here saying they're happy they didn't vote for her because look at her now. There are a lot of people who, even some of her supporters are looking like, wait a minute, what is going on here? So, this election has been very, very interesting to say the least. And I think that there's still a lot of aftermath of all of this. There are people who are still crashing out over the fact that she lost. There are still people who can't wrap their brains around the fact that Donald Trump is actually the president. There are still people who are reeling and there's steam coming from their eyes, and they're crying, and they're, they want to tear stuff up. They just can't believe it. They can't get over it. So, and I'm pretty sure Kamala is she's probably feeling the same way, and it shows. It shows that she does not look that like that jovial, person who's always laughing. She looks spent. She looks disturbed. So that's what I saw, and it was a short speech.
Okay, so we're gonna park it here. Okay, hello. Okay, seems like the Wi-Fi is acting up again. I would say this, in all due respect, she should not have given that speech. That what she had said, it should have been included in her concession speech. Okay, and again, the fact that she raised almost $1.5 billion, and they have to do more fundraising just to make sure that her staff gets paid. Um, that's not a good thing. So, uh, what I think the Democrat Party will have to do, they're going to have to do a serious discussion and analysis and see if they can avoid the mistakes. Otherwise, if not, it's going to be another Republican victory in 2028. So basically, this is 2016 all over again. So the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is holiday expectations. Now we go through all this year in and year out. Okay, as we approach the holidays, particularly now that Thanksgiving was yesterday, and we think about the holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's Eve and Three Kings Day. Okay, it creates another kind of like a fantasy image of what they expect during the holidays. And I stated before, for many people, this is a happy time. For many people, this is a happy time because they're with family, they're with loved ones, they are listening to some festive music, they're eating, they're sharing each other's company, and they're telling, sharing wonderful moments and things of that nature. One thing we have to bear in mind, and again, this is something that I will be discussing, definitely for considering for time next month, is that this is not a happy time for a lot of people. For some people, they're dealing with um, the loss of a loved one through death. For others, they're dealing with ending of marriages, romantic relationships, or close friendships. For others, they're dealing with the fact that they're fighting serious illnesses, um, also losing employment, things of that nature, and other tragedies. So the holidays is a very stressful time, and unfortunately, um, what happens during the holidays, the level depression rises, and the thoughts of self-deletion occur, and it's very high between Thanksgiving and New Year's for multiple reasons. So I'm going to ask all of you, um, reach out to someone if that person seems to be down for a considerable length of time. We don't know what burdens that person may bear. Okay, we don't know the pain that they're going through, and if they seem a little testy, let's try um, to be a little bit more understanding. Now, the next thing I'm going to be discussing is the topic play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. It seems like social media, particularly TikTok, is chock full of people who make stupid decisions and they get results that they did not look forward to. Okay. Um, One issue that's happening is that people are uninviting friends, loved ones, close relations to their home for the holidays simply because of the person that they voted for. And then what adds insult to injury, that you have people that after voting a considerable amount of time actually encouraging people um, to uninvite these people and cut ties simply because of the fact that they voted for somebody else. And they're rationalizing it because their vote has consequences. Okay. True, their vote has consequences, but look, with all due respect, by treating that person as an outcast, for uninviting that person, for ending marriages with that person, ending friendship with that person, is not going to change the situation in any way, shape, or form. What you're doing is you're causing a, a serious division. And what if, God forbid, that person that you decided to shun or uninvite, what if that person passes away? Okay. So then you're going to have to go through a great deal of regret because you have to get into your feelings regarding the fact that that husband, that wife, or whomever voted for the person that you disagree with. Okay. Look, I have friends both here on this platform and outside the platform that I disagree sharply regarding who they voted for. I have chosen not to out to distance myself. If the only issue is that if I disagree with who they voted for, okay, the country has spoken. America made its decision, barring anything, any rare situation. January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump is going to become the 47th president of the United States, and J.D. Vance is going to be the 50th vice president. That's the reality. And the fact by you alienating that person, you're not going to change the situation. What you are doing is you're creating a lot of division and harm to yourself and to those near you. Okay? Because you are in your feelings regarding the outcome of the election. Okay? That's that's very sad. And it just shows that there is a great deal of people that cannot accept defeat gracefully. Okay? And I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I remember um, after the results of the election came out on my video, what I said, okay, to the the supporters, let us be gracious losers. To the Trump supporters, let us be gracious winners. Okay, because there is a great deal of division in this country, and there's a lot of hurt feelings. And believe me, had Kamala Harris won, my position would have been the same. I would be telling our supporters, let us be gracious winners. And to the Trump people, let's be gracious losers. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Okay. Now, many of us celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday. So I hope all of you had a wonderful day yesterday. Okay. Many of us were privileged the fact that we're able to spend time uh, with family and loved ones. Okay. We enjoy good food. We enjoy entertainment. We watch football. Okay. But we have to be mindful of the fact that those who are not in that position. First of all, let us remember our men and women that serve in the armed services overseas. And they were not able to celebrate Thanksgiving with their loved ones. Okay. And let me tell you something. For a person that made the decision to serve their country and to be away in a foreign land on Thanksgiving Day without your loved ones and the only people that you have with you with your uh, fellow soldiers and service people, that could be very depressing. So first of all, I just want to say a huge shout out to the men and women who are out there putting their lives in the line to the to serve to serve a country and to put their life on hold to serve and protect our liberties. And also a huge shout out to the family of these service people because they're dealing with the fact that they're celebrating a holiday Thanksgiving without their presence. So a huge shout out to them. And of course, we also have to bear in mind that there are people, unfortunately, that have been alienated by their families and by their friends um, due to the fact that they've been shunned simply because of the mistake they made of voting for somebody else. Again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. So the next topic I'm gonna have is what I call buyer's remorse. And this is something that I've seen a lot of the Trump supporters have been doing. What do I mean by that? Okay. Many of them have actually did a search in Google, which the question was raised: can they change their vote? And the answer is no. Once you cast your vote, that's it. You cannot unvote. You you made the decision. But what's really fine insane is that they didn't bother to do their research. The next thing, that one of the another thing that's high on the search list is what are tariffs and who paid for them. Okay, these are things that you should have done research before you cast your vote. And it's not like they didn't have time; they had literally months to do the research as far as Google, as far as what are the goals that each candidate has and how tariffs will affect them. So now you have a lot of people who are upset because they realize after the fact that they made a mistake. Well, you know what? Actions do have consequences. I don't think they should be shunned, but it doesn't matter. You just have to live with the fact that you made a decision, not your regret. So what's the moral of this lesson? Do diligence and research prior to an election. Okay. Because let me tell you something. If 2028 comes along and you still have not the bother to do your due diligence and research regarding each candidate, I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for anyone in that category. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is false narratives. And that's something that I didn't think that I would experience here in these YouTube streets or on social media as a whole. But boy, there's been certain individuals that have made false narratives. There have been false narratives made regarding some of the people that I consider my friends, who are content creators here on this platform. There have been false narratives made about me. Okay. And usually the people who made the loudest complaints are the people that know jack about the people who they're talking about. Okay. The one thing among the many things that I have learned, which is if you don't have something pleasant to say about a person, don't say anything at all. Okay. Now, unlike certain creators, what I decided to do is not to respond, and not to directly, and not to mention their names. Okay. Many of them create false narratives for the purpose of getting attention, perhaps, perhaps trying to increase their views or trying to get subs or followers on their platforms. Okay. I have a term for them which I call the attention-seeking whores. Okay. And what is the worst thing that you can do to these individuals? Ignore them and be the best version of yourself. That is the best. That is the best thing that you can do. Okay. When you are able to disregard what they say, when you're able to just focus on the best version of yourself, okay, that is the most gratifying form of revenge. Okay. And the best part about it is that when you do that, it drives them crazy. So, excuse me. Okay, so that's my suggestion is when it comes to dealing with these individuals, ignore them, ignore them, and just focus on being the best version of yourself. Okay, excuse me. Okay, again, just to let everybody know, we're having another episode of open discussion tonight where I discuss um, several topics. So I'm gonna talk about a couple other topics. Okay. Now, what to expect for 2025? Um, that's a good question. So I think, okay, first of all, when it comes to expectations on 2025, the first thing you have to bear in mind is what you're hoping for. Okay. And also try to keep try to keep your expectations realistic. Okay. Now, of course, a lot of people are concerned, obviously, regarding what's going to be the outcome under this under the new administration. Look, I think the best thing to do is to simply withhold judgment and wait and see what happens. Withhold judgment and wait and see. And if they don't make your life better, then obviously, um, just keep that in mind when you have the presidential elections in 2028. Now the next question is: will Trump actually complete this current term in office? Um, I would say this: he is 78 years old. He's not physically in the best of health, but one thing he does have going well for him is that he's going to have the best medical care possible. Okay, if anything, if any health conditions can occur, he's going to get the best treatment, whatever. So excuse me. So now as far as his mental health, that's another issue altogether. Now, despite the fact that the media has not made any light regarding his stable cognitive skills, okay, the fact of the matter, his cognitive skills has declined. The question is, will that decline to continue? That's particularly when he heads towards the end of this current term. Again, like I said before, he is 78 years old. And one thing we have to bear in mind that the position is very stressful and it can't affect your health. So that's something that we all have to bear in mind. So we will have to wait and see um, what will happen. Now another thing. Okay, no. Back in 2016, when it was made clear that Donald Trump was going to become president, there's been a lot of people talking about they're going to leave the United States and whatever and go to another country because they cannot stand 4 years of him. That talk is arise again. First of all, if you're going to leave the United States and live in another country permanently, if you're leaving because you do not like the person that's in charge, that's a dumb reason. Okay. There should be other factors as far as why you choose to leave the United States. Now, this is no knock on other countries. There are other countries that I'm sure will have things that they can offer its citizens, and things of that nature. So, and look, we have to deal with people that were not great as far as president. Okay, we have dealt with some very scandalous people, and one thing we have to bear in mind: the position is called co- a commander in chief. It is not called pastor in chief. Okay, that's something that we have to bear in mind. Okay, and that's the reality. That's the reality. The position is called commander in chief, not pastor in chief. And look, this country has survived presidents who've been very scandalous. We have had presidents who face impeachment. We also had one president that had resigned. Okay, so when everything is said and done, this country will continue. So this country will continue. So before now, I've been talking for almost an hour. So let me ask you this question. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Is there anything that you wish for me to discuss? Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll start to wrap this up. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. But in any case, just to let you know my schedule for next week. I'm going to go back to my regular schedule, which will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Monday, Thursday, and Friday, I will I will produce content regarding on this channel. Tuesday, I will come up with a different topic on my other channel. Okay, and it looks like most people are going to um, watch this from on the playback, which is perfectly fine. I mean, look, I get it. This is it's a slow week because it's the holidays, people are outside celebrating and things of that nature. So we see what happens. Okay. But what I will say is this. Um, Life goes on. Life goes on. It is that simple. Okay. And you have to learn to pick your battles. Okay. And what I mean by that, there's certain situations where no matter what you do, it's not going to change. And there's certain situations things can change, but it all depends on your actions. Okay. So you just have to, you know, use your own judgment. Okay. This is something that I have learned. Um, okay. There's certain times where it's best not to just to not to get engaged. Um, just to give you a little um, food for thought. Today, of course, today I went back to work and did my job, and of course, my normal supervisor was out, so another supervisor was out, so she was asking us to do certain things. Um, that we normally don't do. So I, basically what I did, instead of complaining, I just listen and I just try to listen to the rationale. Okay. Because look, when everything is said and done, just do your job. Okay. As long as they're not asking you to do anything that's going to cause you to put your life at risk or anything that's criminal, um, no, just do your job. Just do your job. And anyway, with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up. First of all, shout out to the people who did stop by now and then. Okay. I will be live on Monday, most likely 9 o'clock, and we shall see. But in any case, enjoy your weekend. Make sure that you make the most of it, and visit people, particularly people that you have not seen in a long time. And if there are people that you're not spoken to in a long time, try to reach out to them. And if there's any rifts in your family, if you can, try to resolve those issues. Because again, tomorrow is not promised to anybody. So with that being said, I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm just going to close by saying we must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we'll be infected by the stupidity and mass insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. I'm saying good night, take care, and peace.